Our next speaker is Carrieanne Ford, also an institutional survivor. She's going to share her experiences with us and what she's doing now in her thriving. Thanks, Carrieanne. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Hi, welcome. I'm glad you welcomed me here. I thought I wouldn't make it because Dignity was going to take me home. And I said, I want to go to this speaking program. All night I kept couldn't wait to get here. Okay, I am a survivor. I lived in Huronia and Gravenhurst, which are the both institutions together from the age of 13 years old, got out, and because they had let me out, because they made me pregnant in there. The staff had sent me into a room where you have to do that or punished with a dope needle. So I got pregnant there. The baby was born. It was a girl, but they took the baby and killed it. All they could say to me, it was a girl. The next thing I went to the high school, worked at the high school before I went to the institution. And family also invited, which means by that institutional family history. Still sadness of hearing from her time in the institution, which still bothers me, and why daily life. Mrs. Green is a popular nurse that worked in there called the RNA. She tortured me very severely, broke my legs, damaged my eyes, and gave me a favorite name, Bug Eyes. I always wondered why Bug Eyes was in. I looked in the mirrors and said, what's wrong with my eyes? Like, she calls me Bug Eyes. And when I went to Gravenhurst, it's more freedom in Gravenhurst. I couldn't believe when I first went from a locked doors to Gravenhurst, I went to the staff in the office, somebody's running away. She didn't pay attention to me, so I opened this door and I creeped down the stairs and I went out, and still the switchboard are not even stopping me, so I went out. And the girls had asked me, are you going swimming? I didn't bring my bathing suit. Everything was like a puzzle from locked doors to freedom in different institutions. So I went out the back and sat on the porch at the back of Gravenhurst. This little tiny squirrel came up to me, crawled up my neck, and I was kind of nervous. So I picked this little squirrel up and I looked at it. But I did get a shoebox. I put it in a shoebox, crept into my bedroom with the squirrel. So I took the squirrel into the room and put a little red ribbon around its neck and the bell. And I said, now, I didn't know what to feed this squirrel. So when I went to the cafeteria downstairs, I munched some food from my favorite cook, Julius. I told him about the squirrel. He said, he eats peanut butter. So I went back up the room. I said, I can't keep you in here. So I took it to Mrs. Janzik. And Mrs. Janzik says, what do you got in the box, Carrie? I said, I have to show you. Will you punish me? She said, no. The squirrel, I opened the box, and she said, a squirrel with a red ribbon and a bell around its neck. Does it have a name? I go, yeah, Midnight. It was black. The next thing I felt it was institution was to allow people with closed and doors and institutional lives, and to move ahead in my life, which I'm still having a hard time doing it. I still feel isolated. Important to tell the story about moving from move on the story. Carrieanne has been very involved with reclaiming Huronia project. Had a article in the Canadian Journal of the disability students. I go to people I go to all high schools and tell my story. Must have been about a lot of them here in Toronto. And I tell them my story, and yeah, that's what I mean, the journal. The disability students I go to Remember Every Name is a progress speaker bureau.
So, Carrieanne, I'm wondering, do you want to talk a little bit about your work with Remember Every Name?
Oh, sure.
Cemetery?
Yeah, me and Harold and we have a, if you look on Facebook under Remember Every Name, we're trying to support the bodies that were killed in the cemetery. And it's an organization that we formed a group that were survivors to fight for the rights of the ones that were, even the Indians that were buried into this ground and no name. I was a number 2, but I don't know what it was. But these Remember Every Name is for people, if they want to come to see us. We're trying to get more support because the cemetery has gone a long way.
And you and Harold and a group of other people, you go up every
Mother's Day. Mother's Day is a very special. We're not celebrating. I'm a mother, which I wasn't supposed to be a mother. I was supposed to be Sterled, but there is people. We march, and we're not celebrating us. We're celebrating the ones that never knew their mothers, babies that were put there, and we can't find them. Everybody says, "What happened to the babies?" We don't know. But in there, Remember Every Name, we're trying to get people to come support us. Because one day, if you ever had children and they say your child is a big R word we don't use, support is very scary, because I got 2 grandchildren that are that way, and my daughter is something similar. So they're Down syndrome children, and they're learning a lot now. You wouldn't believe they're Down syndrome, Carrie and Ella. And I like my freedom, even simply go out to the park. I do Meals on Wheels. I do Meals on Wheels with people that can't get out, even though I have a hard time, but I do it. I care for animals. This is very important to me. I'm an animal lover. St. Francis. That's what they call me at church. So when anybody lost their animal, they knew where to come, at Carrieanne's. Do
you want to share your story about the skunk?
Oh, yeah, the skunk. I'm trying to find it here. I just had surgery on my eyes, so I got to try to,
I don't know if it's on there, Carrieanne.
Okay, I could tell you about the skunk and all the raccoons in my backyard. Well, the skunk, I was going for a walk without my walker. I'm trying to learn not to use it. There was this skunk. I got hit by a car. Everybody say, "Stay away." Oh, shut up. So I go and I got this bag and I'm trying to push this skunk. The little tail's going up. I said, she's looking at me. And I said, "I'm not going to harm you. Don't you spray me." So, it was half-league, but it knew that I wasn't going to harm it. It kept looking. If I went this way, the head would go this way. Went this way, the head would go that way. So I got this lady to phone the Humane Society, and the truck did come. And I said, "Is it going to live?" And the lady looked, she said, "No." So I says, "Okay, another one for St. Francis." But I'm an animal lover. I'm a member of the Black Cat Association. I got a black cat. I've been raising black kittens ever since my childhood, and everyone was midnight. So this one kitten I had when I was a little girl, my mom killed it. But it was partially dead, and I put it in my arm, and I said, "Don't worry, I will keep the midnights going," and I did.
So your cat now is called?
Midnight. I got the ashes. I said to Ward, I said, "I go in there, they go in there. We all go together." But Freedom to me is a hard thing to say. I'm still trying to work with freedom, because when I go down to Mother's Day, I can't look at a real institution. I have to turn my head, even cemeteries. So, oh yeah, I worked at an old age home. I worked at the old age home. I was a worker before I went to Aurelia. Important to contact Meals on Wheels, and I worked on Facebook, and I made some good friends. Important to other people with disability to build community and a relationship. Words of wisdom. Words of wisdom, let it be. Don't be afraid of us. We won't harm you. They had it like we were dangerous, like criminals are going to kill you, something like Halloween. We just ask good. We're just as good as you guys. Tear down the institution. That's what we want. The police took over. I feel now that the police, it was an institution of harm and hurt. So now the police, it's still harm and hurt. Who goes to jail? Who goes in there? Tear it down. Give it to the people that don't have homes. Mothers with children that are just having babies and they're only young, like you guys, and you have a child, you got a place to live. This is very important, that to see children know they got their mom. Don't let them take them away from. I hate children's aid because they convict you very bad. You know, label you disabled. My daughter is fighting this thing. Don't let it happen to your children. Workers may come and say your child is a disabled. There's schools for them, not institutions. Let your children free. Don't let the government say they're retarded. Free your children from danger. Free your children from ever letting someone harm them physically. Because in the institution, I've been sexually abused, pregnant twice. The first time, my baby died. Second time, I brought it home. And now my son is gone. I never got to tell him his story, but I think it was better that way. I am so happy you guys really accepted me here, but I am still hurting. Thank you.
Wow.
Thanks, Carrieanne.